So here's why you should buy a Mac. See, if you're gonna buy a Mac, all you're gonna use it for is first-party apps developed by Apple for Mac. You're not going to use it for anything else. You're not going to get Avid Pro Tools. You're not going to get Photoshop. Any third-party software. That's not why you get a Mac. You get a Mac because you have an iPhone. You have an iPad. You use Messages. You use Safari. You don't use Google Chrome. You don't use Chrome on a Mac because it's too heavy of a workload. See, Mac's first-party software is developed for Mac. So you use Safari because it's going to run the smoothest out of any application that you could have on there. You'll be able to see, if you run first-party software on Mac, you'll be able to multitask like a beast. You'll be able to buy a base M2 MacBook Air with 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage, and you're not going to have problems with it. But as soon as you put in Adobe Photoshop and Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve and Avid Pro Tools, you're going to crash it. That's just it. See, the only reason to buy the Mac is to use Logic Pro, Pixelmator Pro, iMovie, things like those to edit video and music and pictures, and even the Photos app, and to browse the web through Safari. You're not going to download the Microsoft Office suite. You're not going to use Excel, Word, PowerPoint, stuff like that, because they already have it. They already have it in Numbers. That's Excel. Keynote. That's PowerPoint. So that's the reason that you're going to buy a Mac, is for first-party software. I hope that's pretty clear. I know this is kind of just a basic rant, but I've been using Mac now for 5 years, and just in this last year, it's just boom, just like that. Because when I first started using Mac 5 years ago, I bought it for Pro Tools. I thought, this is the industry standard, best computer, best software is Pro Tools. And just last year, I dropped Pro Tools. I dropped Ableton because they were crashing. And I got Logic Pro on a base M1 Mac Mini, and that thing ran like a champ. Full sessions, Ozone, third-party plugins, all that stuff, which was nice. And it was nice to finally find, because I was sick of not having enough RAM. I was sick of not having enough storage. I just have, I got this down here. It's like a SanDisk storage drive. I plug it straight into my iPhone 16 Pro Max, my iPad Pro, my Mac Mini, my MacBook Air, all that stuff. I can work directly off this, so I don't need a giant storage disk. I don't need a shit ton of RAM, because I just use first-party apps developed by Apple, and that stuff runs smooth as butter. I just don't know how many more ways that I can say this, is that you should buy a Mac and you should use Apple's software, because it was developed to do all these pro things that we want to do, and we want to look this way. We want to be at the top level, and we wonder why they sell these base model with 8 gigabytes of RAM, and it's a lot of people don't understand it. Just to use first-party apps. Use first-party apps. Use first-party apps. use first party apps.